All right, hey there, everybody. So tonight I've got a tutorial for you on how to get your kick drum, as well as the snare or any of your drums, to cut through your mix a little bit better. A lot of people have been requesting a tutorial on how to get this to work. It's fairly simple. The idea is pretty much parallel compression. And all you do is you have your kick, which is right here, and you're going to route it to a bus. And on that bus, I have mine routed to bus 1. And on that bus, right here, I've got it as parallel compression. What you do is you route your kick to it, and you are going to just compress the heck out of it. And what this is going to do is it's going to give the kick sound you're gonna hear a lot of the beater pretty much. You're gonna get a lot of the click from the bass hit, and what that's going to do is that's going to help it cut through the mix a little bit better. So pretty much all you do is you're going to set your attack super high. I've got mine up as high as it'll go, super high ratio. I've got mine at 20-1, really fast release. And the slow attack and the fast release is going to give you the beater head when the beater hits the kick drum. It's going to give you that, but then it's going to cut off the bassy part of it. And you're going to bring your compression threshold pretty far down. I've got mine to negative 26.5, and then you're going to boost the gain pretty high as well. Pretty much, if you were to hear this sound on its own, it's going to sound pretty terrible. But when you bring it in on top of whatever your kick is already doing, it just adds a little bit of something else that helps it cut through your mix. So let me give you an example here. Let me show you what it sounds like with and without it. I'll go ahead and mute it. I'll start with it, or I'll start without it for you, and then I will unmute it so that you can hear the difference on what it sounds like. So here is the intro where you can really hear the kick. So I've got the kick. I should mention this. I've got the kick and snare routed to this bus, because it kind of helps both cut through a little bit. Another question that I've been getting a lot lately is, what are the buses? And the buses pretty much are another track that you're pretty much routing your signal through. So for instance, my snare here is being routed to bus 1 and bus 2. And these little knobs right here are the amount of signal that I'm sending to that bus. So I've got my kick and snare routed to this parallel compression bus. And if I only want a little bit of my snare routed there, I'm going to turn this knob down. If I want more of my snare routed to that, I'm going to turn it up. So that's pretty much how that works. So if you have any questions about that, go ahead and message me or put something in the comments, and I'll try and explain it. I'll do another tutorial on buses and go into a little bit more depth on that a little bit later. But for now, let's just focus on getting your kicks to cut through your mix a little bit better. So go ahead and like I said, I'm going to play this with it muted. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to unmute it, and I'm going to start bringing it up so that you can hear what it sounds like when I start bringing that in, and you can hear the difference of that super compressed kick sound coming in with that sounds like. So here, I'm going to play this. I just have the volume turned all the way down, which is going to be the same thing as muting it. So here we go. Okay, so hopefully you can hear the difference of what that sounds like with it on and with it off. It makes a fairly big difference. It's a little bit muddy. The kick and the snare just kind of a little bit muddy. They kind of get lost in the mix a little bit, and as soon as you turn that parallel compression on, it starts cutting through the mix a lot. It sounds a lot louder. It sounds a lot more punchy, which is what you want. So one last thing that I forgot to mention here is, in order to do this correctly, what you want to do is you want to route your kick, and if you want to do your snare as well, you want to route them to that bus, but you want to send them pre-fader, not post-fader, which automatically when you put on a bus, I think... when you automatically put a bus on there, it puts it post fader. You want to do it pre fader, and what that's going to do is it's going to send the signal over to that bus before you do anything with your volume. So your volume, pretty much what I do on this channel here, isn't going to affect the signal going to that bus. If it's post fader, if I mess around with the volume on here, it's going to mess around with the volume and the amount of signal that's going to that bus. So make sure it's being sent to a bus, and make sure that it's being sent pre-fader. And all you do is you compress the heck out of it. Super slow attack, super fast release, really high ratio. Compress the compression threshold pretty far down, boost the gain quite a bit, and go ahead and start with the volume on it all the way at 0, and slowly start bringing it up until you start hearing your kick cut through your mix a little bit better. It's, like I said, it's a fairly easy thing to do. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and hit me up. I hope you guys find this little trick useful. All right, see you guys. One more thing that I wanted to tell you about is the EQing of everything. Especially your kick and snare. If you look here, my kick's EQ is fairly basic. A lot of your samples of your kicks are going to be EQ'd pretty well. The only thing that you're going to want to do as far as EQing them goes is maybe notching out some things here and there to get it to stand out. So I just took out 6 dB here around 400 hertz, and I boosted the low end just a little bit here as well. And what that did for me in this track is it got the kick to kind of sit in its own little place, its own little pocket. Another thing that helps your kick stand out a little bit more is cutting out the lows in almost all your tracks. Your around your 80 hertz range is going to be your bassiness. Um, Anything from 30 on up to, I don't know, like 150 or so. It's going to be your pretty big bass sounds. So you want to try and cut out as much of that frequency as possible. If you look down here at a lot of my EQs, you'll see I've got a low cut on a lot of my channels. That's cutting out a lot of that low end. That's going to help that kick stand out. And same goes for your snare. I've got, you can see I've got a lot of this low end here cut out so that it doesn't interfere with my kick, because I've got my kick and my snare hitting on the same beat, and you don't want to lose either of them. You want to be able to hear both of them, so they've got to sit in their own little pocket so they don't kind of cancel each other out. You don't want the frequencies to get all messed up. So, making sure your EQs for all of your instruments are cut in the right places, it's going to help your instruments, your other instruments, such as your kick and your snare, stand out in the mix a little bit better. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that helps a little bit as well.